Light and peace, brothers and sisters. In my last video in the OahspeCollegeUniversity YouTube video, I posted the summary of education that angels go through after humans die. And also, I posted the 10 commandments that the Israelites were following. And over the course of 2 weeks, I've been observing the Senator TV, including some of this Israelite YouTube channel, Lions Den. One critical thing that I noticed that was not addressed, of course it was addressed, but the community, I'll say the society today are missing the point. They're not connecting the dot. So this video is to connect the dot. Majority of them do not agree that angels came down to our world and have sex with us. So topic for discussion today is angels having sex. Now, did this happen? Did it not happen? I'm just going to go down to OahspeCollegeUniversity and pull out the information because some people are having problem understanding this concept. And I can understand where they're coming from because they believe as swans, which would be the equivalent of, if you read the Christian Bible today, it would be Adam. They believe the race of Adam just, had sex with the race of Eve, but Eve would be angels though. And that's what they don't understand, and they're messing everything up. So I'm just going to go to the OahspeCollegeUniversity and decode this. But just one thing I want to say is that when you look at West Africa today, and you ask them, do they believe in angels, right? They will say to you, yeah. And if you ask them, do angels have sex with them? They'll say, yeah. So if in West Africa, I don't want to go to Africa entirely. Let's go to West Africa, and I'm going to go to what I know, right? So I'm from Nigeria. So do angels or spirit have sex? Yeah. It's simple. This is something normal. We even have stories in Nigeria where a human dies, right? And still come back. And these people not even knowing that this person died, but the person goes to another city or another state in Nigeria, or can actually go to another country and continue living. These are stories in West Africa. So now for you evil Israel not to believe that angels came down and have sex with the race of Adam is ridiculous. So I'm just going to go to OahspeCollegeUniversity and clean this up and show the evidence. Okay. So did angels have sex with humans or not? Yes, they did. In the book of Jehovah, chapter 7, verse 22, observe now what shall happen on earth. Those who are of your flesh and kin who cohabit means sex, together shall rise in wisdom and virtue. But those who cohabit, you see that with assuance is equivalent, okay? Equivalent to what people will call the Adamites, the race of Adam, according to Genesis chapter 1, right? Will both forth heirs in descending grade of life. And this is very easy to understand. And I want you to carefully read this, watch this video, because I am going to use this video to explain in the future the races of humans, because there's been a hot debate right now. How come the race of Druk had a dark and brown complexion, while the Irons had a yellow and white complexion? So you need to watch this video to get a proper understanding, because I'm going to use this video to connect the dot. You see, I says those who cohabit with their twins will bring forth heirs in descending grade of life. Because the truth to the matter is that the angels had sex with Assyrians. So if they had sex with the Assyrians, then they're going to bring forth degrading life. This explains why they gave birth to the Drugs. And Hebrew Israelites don't want to understand this. You actually think Eve had sex with Adam? No, that was just metaphor or allegory, according to you. You know, that was just a story they gave to you guys. Okay, they didn't explain it, but Oahspe explained it. The King James Bible was not explained properly, because if you read the Oahspe tells you how that story came about. Let me just continue. The first shall bring forth heirs to the everlasting life, but the second shall bring forth heirs that shall go out in darkness. So, yeah, clearly tells you, this book of Jehovah, chapter 7, verse 22, is telling you that we had another race that came to have sex with the Assyrians, period. And if you read this verse 22 carefully, it also says angels also had sex with themselves. So angel plus angel had sex with themselves. And Assyrians had sex, and angels had sex with Asu. So there was 3 types of sex that was going on. Asu with Asu with angel, and angel with angel. This is what this verse 22 is saying, without sugarcoating. Okay? Now, in the book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 7 and 9, verse 7 says, since many angels assumed they were all highest, they put aside the commandments, of which was not to permit the spirits of the newly dead to return and dwell with their mortal kindred. For they, not knowing about the higher heavens, would teach falsely concerning Jehovah and his everlasting kingdom. So now we have a problem, because a lot of angels now came down, and go read the book of Enoch. Come on. There's a popular YouTube video, Ancient Aliens, on YouTube, the History Channel. They post all these things. Even in the King James Bible, the Sodom and Gomorrah, those are angels. They came down and had sex. Come on. This is, I still don't understand why the Hebrew Israelites don't get this. And verse 9 says, yeah, this is where I'm going. Verse 9 says, for they dwelt together and slept together. You see that? In dreams and visions, mortals judge themselves to be wise, not knowing they were obsessed in sleep, and for the desires of the flesh. They found happiness in spirit, having no higher God or Lord. So to now say that angels did not come and have sex with us, come on, ridiculous. I don't know what this so-called Hebrew Israelites are thinking. It's either they're not reading the King James Bible correctly, or they're reading and just ignore it, or they just don't want to accept the fact, right? So my point in the future, when I'm going to post the video about the Assyrians, the angels, and the Druk, I'm going to connect the dot. But yeah, I'm going to use this verse also, Book of Jehovah, chapter 7, verse 22, which clearly says that the Assyrians cohabited with themselves. Yeah. The angels had sex with the Assyrians, and the angels had sex with themselves. Period. So there, you're going to have a lot of bunch of colors. You're going to have the chocolate color. You're going to have the dark chocolate color. You're going to have the copper color. You're going to have multiple colors. Okay? And also, Oahspe decodes. I'm going to post it on my video, that they had multiple colors based on the environment, based on how the rotation light came upon them. Okay? No different, like where some part of Africa, when a baby was born at the age of, when the baby was born, he was born with high content of copper. But as the baby grows, based on sun, that baby starts becoming dark. But if that baby was born in another region of Africa where there's not too much sun, all the life of that baby, the baby will never be dark. It will remain copper. Why is it that you Hebrew Israelite cannot understand this? This is proven. Take a baby, for example, that was born in New York. Let the baby live for the period of 7 years and take that baby to Africa and let that baby live there for another 5 years. The baby gonna be dark. Why? Because the voltation light, the sunlight, come upon that person for a very period of long time and it's gonna be dark. But if that baby was left in America where there's not too much of exposure to light, sunlight, the baby will never be dark. Come on. Now you want me to start explaining science to you guys? Are you guys kidding me right now? Okay, so the last verse, and I'm going to close this subject. Book of Apollo, chapter 10, verse 12. Verse 12 says, Jehovah said, now, for those of you who don't understand the previous verse, because they'll be like, oh, but how did these angels, how did they have that capacity to do that? How did they become a human? You know, even in Sodom and Gomorrah, they said angels were having sex. Go to West Africa, go to Nigeria right now. This is common. Go to Ogun State, go to Lagos State, go to Oyo State in Nigeria. They have angels living among them. They even have humans that died and go to another state, and people confirm that this person died in one state. So, but how did this come about? Because the angels, after they die, after they reach, this is why you got to watch my video about the summary of educational system, because angels have the power and the capacity to take corporeal sense. Okay, for this is this verse here proves it, right? The book of Apollo, chapter 10, verse 12. Jehovah said, I have given power to spirit of the newly dead to clothe themselves right there from the atmosphere with corporeal semblance of flesh and blood. And to my exalted atmospheric angel, I have given power to clothe themselves from it in form of light. But to my exalted interior angels, I have given power to clothe their hosts with ships of fire and octagon and adalist. So ships, Ohs is telling you that they even have angels that have the power, right, to manifest themselves in form of an aircraft, spacecraft. Now, I want you to carefully capture this verse, because in my next video, I am going to post a video about the God of Israel, the God of the Israelite using spacecraft. Because I was on Saneda TV and he don't believe that God was using a plane. So this verse clearly says, right? I'm going to read it again. Book of Apollo, chapter 10, verse 12. Jehovah said, I have given power to spirits of the newly dead to clothe themselves from the atmosphere with corporeal semblance of flesh and blood. And to my exalted atmospheric angels, I have given power to clothe themselves for ether in form of light. But to my exalted interior angels, I have given them power to clothe hosts with the ships of fire and octagon and atavista. This is a spacecraft. Just like we have planes in JFK right now, and all those planes in the NASA, when they're about to move, they move with a loud clanging sound. So this verse here is what I'm going to use to prove, without a shadow of doubt, without sugarcoating, that the God of Israel in Exodus was also using a spacecraft. Explain that to me, and was also using a plane to communicate with the Israelite. Remember this verse. Light and peace, brothers and sisters. This video was to prove that angels have sex with humans, and if angels can have sex based on their environment, why do you have a problem with Druk being dark and brown? Why do you have a problem with iron being white and yellow? Take a baby that was born in New York, wherever it is, with not too much of sunlight, maybe a period of 7 years, right? Take that baby to Arizona. Take the baby to where sunlight, the perfect example would be Africa. That baby will come back dark chocolate, okay? But here's a catch, right? If the baby live in Africa for a period of, what am I saying? I'm a perfect example, right? So look at my skin, right? I even know of a friend back in Nigeria right now. Before I left Nigeria, right? The guy was copper. If you look at his picture right now on Facebook, the guy is dark. What happened to the guy? That means the sunlight, the voltation light, the flotation radiation came upon the guy. Come on. You Israelites want the OahspeCollegeUniversity teacher to teach you science now? Come on. Are you guys kidding me? Light and peace, brothers and sisters. Bye-bye now.